Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to a brand new video here today and some more league racing action. Today we are here in PSGL PC and this is, I believe, round 6 at Zandvoort. Now this weekend was a bit of an interesting one because this was the first race with my brand new pedals, my Thrustmaster TLCM pedals, which are a load cell pedal, which is a lot more different to anything I've ever experienced in my life. So that was a big learning curve. I did a bit of practice. I was working hard to get used to the pedals, but the race did arrive a bit too soon for my comfort. Having said that, I decided to go for it and do the race anyway and send it and hope for the best. I was going to hopefully use the race as practice to try and improve. So we're going to see how we get on. Now currently we're in qualifying, we are in Q1, and the lap you're about to see right now is actually my best lap of the session. So in the meantime, if you guys haven't seen the previous episode, guys, I believe the Belgian Grand Prix, then go check it out. I'll leave a link up in the top right hand corner of the screen. But yeah, today we are here at Zandvoort, and after narrowly missing out on the points in the last race, we're going to try and do better this weekend. So we're going to see how it goes. I'm feeling pretty confident. You know, before the pedal change, I was pretty quick. My pace was really strong, and I could have done the race on my old pedals, but at some point I've got to change over and crossover anyway, so I thought to myself, I may as well just go for it now and just start getting used to it, basically, because my target is to kind of be as fast as possible for the time F1 2021 comes out. So yeah, I believe I got the pedals that morning, and I've done quite a bit of practice. Made a few adjustments to the pedals, and I got them in a semi-decent spot. They weren't optimized. I hadn't fully calibrated them or made some adjustments in terms of preference, but they were working, and I just kind of had to put up with what I had. Now you can see here we're 3/10 up on this lap. We're going to cross the line and set a 1 minute 8.3 and go P13 at the time. So currently we are safe and out of the elimination zone. Of course, the bottom 5 get eliminated. PSGL is a full qualifying, and luckily for us, that lap was enough to see us through in P13. So we move into Q2, which, to be fair, was a big surprise. I was fully expecting to get knocked out in Q1. My pace wasn't that great, you know, getting used to the new pedals, and you're going to hear that a lot in this video, by the way, but I'm just trying to explain how it was at the time. But yeah, I was, you know, before quite comfortably in the low 8s, high 7s. And I was struggling to get there, of course. So, yeah, it was all about damage limitation, really, for us. Now, in Q2, I went for a couple of runs. This was my first time lapping the session. A bit of FPS glitching. I had a few issues with the stream, which will get fixed for the race. First lap, though, we go 1 minute 8.5, which is not great. It's not, you know, not where you want it to be in terms of a banker lap. I then went for a second attempt, and I made a bit of a mistake. Almost spun the car through the long right there, so I managed to catch the car. And what I did was I actually took a very slow rest of the lap, recharged the battery and the fuel, and went again on those exact same tyres. And you can see now, we're about 2.5 tenths up, 2 tenths up now as we lose a bit of time out the final corner, and running up to the line, we're going to cross and set a 1 minute 8.3, which puts us P11 for now. So not too bad, and a slight improvement on our previous one. But we're now going to box, put on our final set of soft tyres, and we're going to go full send one last time here. So here we go, out the final corner. You're going to open up the exit nicely and go to the top of the track, because there's a bit of a downhill bit which gives you a bit more top end speed. DRS wide open. You want to brake at the 50 meter board for turn 1. Hard on the brakes, third gear. I run a bit wide, don't quite get the rotation or the apex, but we do manage to find a bit of time. Now 5th gear downshift and just carry the engine speed into here, and then try and get the car rotated as fast as possible. A couple double short shifts up to 4th gear on the exit, and it wasn't ideal. Lost a bit more lap time there, and we are going to be, I think, partially down in sector 1 unless this fast right is good, which it's not great. So we've lost even more time, half a tenth through there. So it's a disappointing first sector. We then get on the brakes through this very tricky right, and these two corners here, especially this one and then this left right here, were the two hardest corners for me to kind of get a real feel for with the pedals, and I wasn't really able to get that rotation with the brake and the throttle, so it wasn't ideal. We did manage to recover though, and we're personal best in sector 2. We then feed the car through this little right left chicane which feeds into a hairpin, and we find a bit more time there, and now into the final corner, full commitment, kissing the inside curb, a little bit of oversteer though on the exit, and we're going to keep the car nice and tight to the right hand side, and we're going to improve by just under a tenth, and that will give us 1 minute 8.2, and we go P13. So yeah, that was the best we could do in qualifying. We finish in P13 and 3 tenths off the next car, which is Ruben Vallejo. Worth noting how competitive PSGL is this year, guys. The top 2, Lucas UK, Jana Otmer, equal lap times, and the top 12 covered by 0.177. Like, do you understand how ridiculous that is? The caliber of this league this season is unbelievable. So yeah, we're getting knocked out, can't complain, didn't have the pace, and that's just, you know, the way it is at the minute. But yeah, that's over qualifying. We're now going to move into the race here at Zandvoort. Okay, here we are then at the end of the formation lap, and we're going to start the race on the mediums. We're going to go for the alternate strategy, so medium to soft, one stop, pit around lap 20-21. Here we go then, the lights are on for the race, and it's going to be lights out and away we go. My first start on these pedals, and it wasn't a great one. It's definitely a new learning curve. I'm still not used to it right now. A week later, the race starts are completely different on a load cell pedal for me, so I've got to try and work on that. But you can see we get squeezed out there by Floris Vyers in the Haas, and then I get squeezed again by the Alpha Tauri onto the curb. So we're down to P15 and almost P16 as Joe tries to go around the outside, but we managed to hold on, and we solidify P15 for now. So not ideal. But again, I kind of knew it was going to happen, to be honest with you, because I hadn't practiced to start with new pedals. So yeah, we've lost 2 places. We're now tucked in behind Yari. We're going to see if we can try and maybe make some progress. We've got Vallejo ahead of us. Looks like Naumann's had a pretty poor start. He's on soft tyres, I believe. He's the only car on softs. So he could be quick at the start, but he's going to be really poor towards the end of the stint. You know, the soft tyres go off very quick around here. So we're going to see how it goes. But for now, lap 1 in the books, and I'm just trying to see if anything happens, and that it does, as someone Vigan gets spun around, and we're going to gain a free position and move up to P14. So something happened. I think he got spun by, I want to say Julian. I'm not sure. I didn't properly see it, but either way, we gain a place, and we're now P14. So at the end of lap 1, we've lost 1 place. Ideally, it should have been P12 had we just held on to our starting position. But nonetheless, we move on to lap 3 now, and Julian Naumann makes a mistake. He runs wide onto the grass, and you can see he has a bit of contact with his teammate, and that's going to open the door for us to make a move here. And this was my first overtake on the new brakes. You can see here, I outbrake Julian quite nicely, actually, into there. And I was quite happy with that one. That was my first official outbraking of an opponent with those pedals. And that's one thing I can notice, you know, with the load cell pedals. I can tell if I can get used to it, I'm going to be a lot quicker than before, and the braking is a lot more effective. I can brake a lot later, so that's really, really good for me. And already you can see the benefits of that. Move on to lap 7 though, and at this stage I was actually dropping out of DRS range of Yari. He was being pulled along by Vallejo, and I wasn't able to keep up that much. I was struggling. This was kind of that awkward phase where I didn't know what to do. I was still very green with how I felt. I knew as the race would go on, I'd get stronger, because obviously I'm learning every single lap around here with these pedals. So luckily I managed to just about hold on. Lap 10, you can see here, we are within DRS. I managed to recover. We've got Timon Shooter in the pit lane, who I believe started on soft tyres. So we're now P12 in this race. And we're going to try to put some pressure on Yari, because around this point, I could tell that Yari was starting to struggle on his tyres a bit. He was making a lot of mistakes. He was locking up a lot, having a lot of oversteer moments. And I could see he was starting to struggle. I was trying to save tyres, because the one-stop is pretty tough to make work around here. You know, you've got to really push the tyres to the limit in terms of tyre wear. So, yeah, we're going to see if we can get past him and put a bit of pressure on. And now lap number 12, Yari actually makes a bit of an error through here. We're going to get very close. I have to get right on the brakes to get out of it. Otherwise, I would have got wing damage, but we've now got the pressure on, and we're going to try and see if we can pass him. So I've got plenty of ERS. I've done a good job of not using it, because around Zandvoort, ERS is impossible to recharge. You know, if you use it, you're not getting it back. It's as simple as that. So you've got to be very smart when you use it, and you've got to really make it count. So lap 12, I get a pretty nice exit out of there. I'm going to hit the ERS button. Not a lot, just enough to give me a bit of momentum, and I'm going to try and make the overtake with just DRS alone. As you can see, Yari does not defend. A few more cars in the pit lane, and we move up to P6. We pick up the inside line through turn 1, and there we go. Job done. Nice, clean, textbook overtake. We now move on to lap 13, and we've got a yellow flag, as I believe somebody retired in the pits. And meanwhile, we've got Vallejo making a move, I think, up ahead. And we've got a few more cars in the pits, people getting off the soft tyres. And yes, Vallejo making a move on Dario Lemula, I believe, in the Red Bull. So we're going to be the next ones up. but I believe Dario will actually pit at the end of this lap now, so we're not going to have to worry about overtaking him. So Vallejo leads, and we are P2, and Yari's going to follow us in P3, pretty much just trying to save ERS, I think he's doing. You'll see the gap to Vallejo is currently 1.5 seconds, I believe, if I can see, or 1.7 actually on my preview monitor. And you'll see now as we cut forward, the gap actually went up quite a bit. You know, Ruben was a lot quicker than me. Again, normally I'm pretty decent, but my lack of pace was showing. You can see the gap now has gone up to 3.2 seconds, which is a lot. You know, 1.5 seconds in about 5 laps is quite a lot of time to give away. Lap 20 though, you're going to see now we've got Alvaro Carreton behind us. He has pit for mediums and he's pretty speedy. I'm not going to defend because it's absolutely pointless, and we're going to let him go. I do try to brake nice and late into turn 1 to not give away too much lap time. And we've now got Jarno Otmir behind. He's on the hard tyre, so a bit of a split strategy. Alvaro on the medium, Jarno on the hards. I managed to keep Jarno behind for the entire lap. He was quicker than me, but I managed to have a pretty decent lap, and we're now going to box. So essentially, my front left was on, I think, 76%, I think, when I pit. So I managed to drag out the first into 21 laps, which was very good. I had a decent pit entry as well, considering, you know, the braking is different with these pedals. I was able to push that quite well. And we're now going to go onto the soft tyres, and we're going to see if we can try and push for points right at the end of this race. As you can see, we've got quite a few cars on hard tyres around us. Into turn 1, Yari on the undercut. He's currently on hard tyres. He wasn't able to make the alternate strategy work. He's going to be ahead of us for now. So we're going to have to try and get past him straight away if possible. But it's good to see that Yari couldn't make it work. Just goes to show, you know, that all those laps in the first stint I was behind him, I was able to save my tyres, and that allowed me to go for this strategy as we pick up a warning for track limits. My first one of the race after 22 laps, which is pretty decent. I was quite happy with that one. To say I went that long, but now lap 22 we're going to go for the exact same carbon copy overtake as before. A little bit of ERS out the front of the corner to give me that momentum as Joe pits for Red Bull, and we're going to move up to P12 as we go down the inside of Yari into turn 1 with a purple sector 3, and there we go. You can see Vallejo actually, he pitted 1 lap later and he's rejoined the head of Donoso, so he's going to be in the points. But now our next target is Fabrizio Donoso, and we're going to try and chase him down. Again, we've got a big advantage on these tyres. You can see we set a new fastest lap on lap 24. A bit of frame rate issues there, I believe. As I had a few issues here overall. It seems like Zandvoort's a bit of a tricky track for everybody in terms of FPS. But anyway, end of lap 24, we're going to make the move on Fab. He's not going to defend too much. I think he knows it was going to happen, and I was a lot quicker. So we're going to go to the inside, use minimal ERS, and I've still got a decent chunk of ERS left over, which is great. So hopefully we'll get to use that very shortly to make some moves. But we're now P10. Somebody else was in the pit lane, and currently we're in the points, which is awesome. So a really surprisingly good race so far. I shouldn't have been in the points. I believe there was an incident between Philip Presneder, my teammate, and somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but I think it might have been Josh Idawu. I can't remember. Either way, they were cars who should be fighting for the lead who weren't in the race anymore. So they were behind us, and that kind of gave us a couple of extra free positions. In the meantime, you saw me pick up another warning for track limits, and now we're closing up to Dario in front of us, and we're going to try and make the move here. So essentially, 5 laps to go. Dario had really good pace. Fab actually picks up a 3-second time penalty right there at the final corner as well. So he's going to be potentially out of the running here. I'm going to drain my battery and try and make a move here on the Red Bull into turn 1. We're going to send it, but Dario's pretty decent on the brakes and holds on for now. Worth noting now, I've been on these tyres 11 laps and the softs are starting to fade. But the good thing is you can see the light flashing on Dario's car, which means he's running at less than 10% ERS. And like I said before, around here, ERS is pretty much impossible to recharge. So we're going to try again. Out the final corner, DRS wide open. We're going to drain the rest of our battery here, and we've got a much better run this time as we go down towards turn 1. We're going to have to go around the outside here, super late on the brakes, trying to go the long way round on the Red Bull, but Dario holds on once again. I'm still there. It's going to be a bit of a squeeze, and I have to back out of it, otherwise there's going to be contact. I tried to get the cut back and then go the long way round at the hairpin, but again, I didn't quite get the rotation. I'm going to get the cut back again though, use the last bit of ERS that I have, and we're going to go side by side through this section. It's so close, but I have to yield because otherwise it's going to be a massive high-speed crash, and no one wants that. You know, again, I think the key moment there was a hairpin. I could have got that one done, even turn 1 as well. But because I can't quite get the rotation at the moment with my pedals, you know, I'm struggling to get those moves done. But you can see here a bit of dominoes going on as we hit Dario, and then Fabrizio hits me, and that cost me a bit of time there, which wasn't ideal. And just a bit scrappy, a bit scruffy overall in that sequence. And my tyres are going every single lap, so I need to make this move. You know, it's becoming race critical now. So I'm going to try one more time and use all the ERS that I have, basically, because we need to get this move done. You can see out the final corner again, we get a decent exit. I'm not as close as last lap, but I've got, you know, a pretty good run on Dario here into turn one. We're going to try and put some pressure on the brakes, but actually, I think he clips the grass a little bit, runs a bit wide, but then I make a mistake. I get suckered in, and I've unfortunately made a big mistake, and I've let Fabrizio Donoso through. So, not the end of the world. You know, Fab has a 3-second time penalty, so if I can just stay within 3 seconds, we'll get this one back. I'm kind of hoping Fab makes a move, and which he does, to be fair. Those hard tyres are working well at this stage. They were probably the better tyre to be on, because obviously tyre weights look lower on those. And Fab's got the advantage at this stage, probably. But 2 laps to go. Fab's P9, Dario P10, and I need to get past Dario to get P9 in this race. So this move is race critical, and we need to get it done. I tried to save a bit more ERS, you know, behind him. I know he's struggling on mediums as well, but he did go quite long in that first stint, so his mediums are probably fresher than most. But yeah, trying to put the pressure on, really, trying to see if I can find a way through. You can see he's on the limit, he's running a bit wide, his light is flashing constantly now, and he makes a mistake, runs off the track, and we're going to go through down the inside, and that's exactly what we needed here. I go a bit defensive just to cover off the inside line, and we're now P10. And now you can see Fabio, Fabrizio, I don't know why I keep saying Fabio, Fabrizio Donoso, 1.3 up the road. We've got to try and make sure this last lap of the race we stay within 3 seconds, and we are finishing in P9. But we're not out of the woods yet. My tyres are going, and Dario is also not done yet. He's going to try and re-challenge me. You can see he's right on my gearbox. You see the arrows, and he's looking pretty racy. Also, Yari's come back into the mix as well on those hard tyres. Down towards turn one, I'm using all the ERS that I have. I'm down to 0%. We're going to hold it on the inside line. We get squeezed into the apex there. Luckily, no big contact, and I managed to just edge ahead with my car. Now going through the fast right, more contact again. I'm trying to keep my car there. Dario's giving me a good run for my money. We're going to go the long way round once again. We get the traction down. It's a big old battle. I've got just about enough ERS to edge ahead. And now, just like a few laps ago, this time I'm going to get the inside line, and we're going to pick up the position here through the long right on the last lap of the race. But now through here, unfortunately, I pick up my third and final warning, which gives me a 3-second time penalty, which was heart-wrenching. It really, really hurt me, that did, because you can see Fabrizio, he's 2.5 up the road. I'm pretty confident I can stay within 3 seconds at this stage, but the damage is done. Again, that penalty really hurt me. There was a bit of an incident here as well, actually. Yellow flag. I believe Lucas UK and Ruben Vallejo had an incident. So, had we not got any penalties and possibly, you know, had a bit of a more effective overtaking strategy, I could have been as high as P7, but we're going to cross the line, and unfortunately, because of the penalty, it's going to be P12. So, yeah, real shame. That was P9. You know, we threw it away, and yeah, it just hurts, because that would have been an absolute blinder. I've not scored points since the first race, I believe. Or to be fair, I scored points in the last round. I scored just the one. But that would have been our highest points scoring, you know, haul since the first race, and that would have been on the brand new pedals. But it wasn't to beat. And in the end, you can see the final race results. Jona Otmir picks up the win ahead of Di Capua, Karaton P3 ahead of Aiduru and the Thomas Shooter. Warren P6 ahead of Louis Welch or Lucas UK, Ruben Vallejo P8, Donoso P9, and Yari picks up the final point. We then look at the driver standings, and Bari did not race today, so he stays on 51 points. Philip had a bit of an incident, lost front wing damage, and he finishes outside the points, so he stays P2. Jona Otmir up to third now with that race win, and you can see us, we've now dropped out of the top 15, so we're no longer on that top half of the table, which is a real shame, but hopefully we can try and fight our way back up there, because yeah, that was a real shame. I should have been there, you know, after today. Those points would have been so key for us. We look at the constructors though, and crucially, we're still holding on to second place somehow. I mean, I'm not doing much, but the points Philip Presneda scored are enough to keep us there. So hopefully we can hold on to that for the remaining rounds. But the next race, you can see in the bottom right, is Silverstone, and fingers crossed we can do better there. It's not one of my best tracks. I'm going to try and work extra hard for that and really put the work in. But guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, then leave a like, subscribe for more. It really helps me out, and I'd really appreciate it, guys, if you could do so. Finally, check out the 2 videos on screen, and thank you as always to the members of the channel. And I'll see you guys next time for the British Grand Prix in PSGL. But until then, take care, and it's goodbye from me.